Caitlin Clark has now addressed the leg sleeve situation directly, and it's time to reset the conversation with facts instead of speculation. Over the past few days, fans noticed something different at practice. Clark was seen wearing a leg sleeve, and almost instantly questions started circulating. Was it serious? Was it precautionary? Was it something that could affect the start of the season? The discussion moved fast, as it always does when it involves one of the most closely watched players in the sport. Earlier, there was speculation that the sleeve could be related to bruising or swelling around the knee. That theory gained traction because it made practical sense. Players don't typically add compression gear in practice without a reason. There's usually some level of discomfort, some irritation, something that needs management. Then came the lighthearted response from head coach Stephanie White, who joked that the sleeve might just be for fashion.
That comment temporarily shifted the tone. It cooled things down. It reframed the situation as something playful rather than concerning. But even jokes don't completely quiet curiosity when it comes to a franchise cornerstone. Now, Clark herself has spoken on the issue, and her explanation brings clarity. She indicated that the sleeve is being used for compression. Compression, in basketball terms, is typically about support and recovery. It can help with swelling. It can help stabilize an area that's taken contact. It can provide comfort without signaling a major injury. It does not automatically mean a player is dealing with something severe.
On the leg.
In many cases, it's preventative.
Okay, I've talked to Sophie Todd, you other people saying that they've had like sports psychology coaches.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one throughout your career? And
Yeah.
as you get more of this sports spotlight, how have you kind of handled the mental side of all of this?
Yeah, we have one here with the fever, and then I have my own personal one as well. So, I think the mental preparation of the game is far more important, obviously, than the physical, especially when you're trying to compete on this level with, obviously the spotlight, the attention. It's game to game to game. You got to be able to turn the page, but I feel like that's such an important side of it, and honestly, that's something I've done since I've been in college. So, just continuing to do that, I think it's a great outlet for me, and it's not obviously only basketball, but like your personal life too. I think a lot of people at times forget that like we're human, like we go through a lot of things too, and being able to have an outlet for that too is really important.
When did you get one, or I guess what made you do it?
And at the time in college, we were working with one as a team, and then it kind of just came about where I started working with that person individually, and have since changed and found somebody that I've liked professionally too as well. So that's been a great relationship for me too.
Was that an emphasis in high school as well? Like, is that something that people talked about, kind of the mental side of the game and taking care of yourself?
High school was a long time ago now. It was like 7 or 8 years. I had a really great high school coach. I wouldn't say that was probably like the number one focus. We didn't have a sports psychology coach in high school or anything, but I think my coach in high school always emphasized like the mental preparation of the game still. So like building those habits and, always checked in on us as people as well. So I feel like I've been really, blessed to be surrounded by like coaches and people that really care about you as an individual before a basketball player.
I know this time last year was not easy at all.
Yeah.
Now the moment is finally here.
Yeah.
You personally, inside, how are you feeling about just this opportunity to be able to go out there and finally just play a real game?
Yeah, absolutely. Just really excited more than anything. And like even the preseason games were really fun for myself too. Like I treat those like real games. I treat those like they're the playoffs. And so just doing, the same preparation as I would for, game 1 that I'm going to do for game 29 that I'm going to do for the playoffs too. So I treat it all the same. And, I was talking about this with somebody the other day, but like opening day can feel so big and so daunting, and like it means so much, and it does, don't get me wrong, but you can't blow it out of proportion. Like you want to prepare the exact same way. And it was kind of funny, I was kind of laughing. By the time you get to game, 40, we're probably all going to look back and not even remember who we played on opening night. So I think you just take it game by game, and that's how you approach things. Obviously, this one is just as important as the next, but you remain focused on the one right in front of you.
How do you feel about the last 10 days of practice, getting you all prepared for the start of the season, where you guys might be at entering this point?
Yeah, I feel great. Yesterday was hard, which I think was really good for us. Obviously, we have a lot of areas to improve, especially during the Dallas game. You certainly saw that. Defensively, I think has been our focus the last day. I think it will be today too. Then have an off day Wednesday, and then more of the mental preparation, scout focus Thursday, Friday. But yeah, I think practice has been really good. Energy level has been great, so I can't complain about that.
You talk about team basketball, but for you what do you hope to bring to the table for this team this year, knowing how close you guys were last year?
Yeah, I think like just more than anything, leadership and experience. Like this is my third year, and even though I wasn't out on the court last year a lot, you still learn on the sidelines. So I think that being something my teammates can really rely on, being a great communicator. Steph's like, always coaching me on that area. I want to be able to communicate with my team on the court exactly what she wants and what I think is best for the team. So just continuing to do that. I feel like I've done a good job of that, but once we get in the heat of battle, like sometimes that can get hard, so continuing to do that.
We talked about this before, but how have you learned to give yourself grace as you continue to navigate this life that you're living when you know that everything you do is going to be scrutinized to the end?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier said than done, and like I think people forget at the end of the day, like I care more than all of you. Like I want to be the best, and I'm always analyzing my play. I'm always trying to find ways to be better, and so I think just that part of it, and I can always say like allow myself grace, but you always have that fire and like that hunger inside of you to like always want to be better, and like you're a perfectionist, and then you get irritated when it doesn't go your way. But at the same time, like I think that's what the great thing about the W is like. Is game to game to game. Like you're going to play 3 to 4 games a week, and you always have an opportunity to turn the page and move on to the next one. So just reminding myself of that, and then obviously reminding myself how lucky I am to just be out there and be playing.
Caleb, we saw you lift from the corners a few times in these preseason games. Yesterday, Steph was asked about your off-ball usage that happens.
Yeah, your guys' 2 favorite questions: what I wear to practice, and me playing off-ball basketball.
I don't want to ask
Go ahead.
about specifically that part of your role. I want to ask how you've gotten better about it. You think since playing with Kelsey and Leah all these years?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be predictable in what we do. And also, like, a lot of what we did last year when I wasn't playing, like, AB brought the ball up a lot. She initiated a lot of the offense. And, on a lot of the misses, I try to be a great defensive rebounder. I need to improve. That's something I didn't do too hot in the preseason games. But, like, I want to get it. I want to go, and I want to play. But, dead balls, things like that, like, it's difficult bringing the ball up 94 feet, but if my teammate is standing there and not being guarded, why wouldn't I just pass them the ball? That's just an unselfish play to make. And then, when we get into things in the half court, I think like being a great screener, like that's an area that I can really, really, really improve in. I haven't always been a good screener. So just trying to do that a little bit better. And, obviously the last game, it was fun to play with AB and like do some inverted action where I'm setting some stuff for her. Like that's really difficult to guard. Like what do you do in that scenario? Like do you both go to AB? Like, do you stab? Do you switch? Like that presents a mismatch problem for them. So just being creative and experimenting, like you don't want to come into a game, and especially when we get into the playoffs and late in the season, they're going to know what we want to do. Like you got to get creative and make it difficult. We can't do the same thing every single time down the floor. So I think that's the beautiful, beautiful thing about basketball. Like I always say, I'm not a creative person, but I think I'm creative on the basketball court. So just trying to do that the best I can.
However, compression also suggests that something prompted the decision. As Clark acknowledged, it's there to relieve and manage the situation.
That opens the door to the possibility that there has been some swelling in the leg. Nothing dramatic, nothing that suggests long-term trouble, but enough to warrant attention. And that's the key point: attention, not alarm. At this stage, there is no indication that the issue is expected to significantly disrupt her availability moving forward. That's important because the timing matters. The season is about to begin. The Indiana Fever are preparing to open their schedule this upcoming weekend against the Dallas Wings. The spotlight will be intense. Every movement will be analyzed. Every minute played will be scrutinized. Clark also did not log heavy minutes in the previous game against Nigeria. That detail stands out. When a player sees limited floor time in a recent outing and is then seen wearing added support at practice, the natural instinct is to connect the dots. Was the reduced playing time part of managing the leg? Was it precautionary? Was it strategic? We don't have confirmation tying those elements together directly, but we do know this. Her workload was lighter in that matchup, and she is currently wearing compression support. In professional sports, that usually signals caution and maintenance rather than crisis. And let's be honest, this is going to remain a recurring topic. Throughout the season, questions about Clark's off-ball role have already been surfacing. Now you add a visible piece of equipment to the mix, and the conversation expands. Observers will watch how she moves, they'll monitor her explosiveness, they'll evaluate whether she looks as fluid attacking the basket. It's inevitable. There's also the broader basketball context. Clark tends to look most comfortable and dynamic when the ball is in her hands. That's not controversial. That's observational. She creates, she orchestrates, she stretches defenses. So when discussions arise about her off-ball positioning, and now there's even mild chatter about a leg situation, everything blends into one ongoing narrative about usage and impact. That's why clarity from the player matters. By addressing it herself, Clark eliminates unnecessary mystery. She didn't dramatize it. She didn't dismiss it entirely either. She acknowledged the purpose, compression and relief. That's measured, that's controlled. That's what you want from a player heading into a season opener. As for Stephanie White's earlier comment about fashion, it reads now as exactly what it appeared to be, a light moment. Coaches often use humor to diffuse speculation. It doesn't necessarily contradict what Clark said. Both can coexist. A sleeve can be functional and still not signal a significant problem. Still, observers will continue to wonder whether there is more going on beneath the surface. The belief remains that there could be swelling in the leg. That's consistent with why athletes use compression. But again, swelling does not equal structural damage. Swelling can result from contact, strain, or routine wear and tear, especially during preseason ramp-up. The real question is whether it affects her performance. That's what fans care about, that's what analysts will track, and that's what the coaching staff will manage carefully as the Fever prepare for Dallas. The Wings present a legitimate early test. Opening weekend games always carry extra energy. Rotations tighten. Stars are expected to deliver. If Clark looks comfortable, moves well, and plays her usual minutes, this entire discussion could fade quickly. If there are limitations, if minutes are reduced again, or if she appears restricted, then the conversation will intensify. That's the nature of professional sports coverage. Visibility invites scrutiny. It's also worth noting that early season management is common. Teams are cautious. They don't rush players unnecessarily, especially when that player is central to the franchise's momentum. You don't gamble long-term stability for short-term optics in May. So where does this leave us? We have confirmation from Clark that the sleeve is for compression and relief. We have speculation that there may be swelling. We have recent evidence of limited minutes in the Nigeria game. And we have an upcoming season opener against Dallas that will provide the next data point. What we do not have is evidence of a serious injury. That distinction is critical. The modern sports cycle thrives on escalation. A sleeve becomes a storyline. A storyline becomes concern. Concern becomes panic. But at this stage, the responsible approach is measured observation. Monitor performance, watch mobility, listen to updates. Clark's response suggests awareness, not worry. And let's zoom out for a moment. Every player deals with physical maintenance across a season. Ice, compression, taping, bracing, these are standard tools. They are part of the profession. Visibility makes Clark's situation feel amplified, but compression sleeves are not rare in basketball. What makes this different is who is wearing it. Clark draws attention. Every detail is magnified. That's the reality of being a marquee name entering a new season with enormous expectations. As the Fever prepare for their opener, the coaching staff will undoubtedly balance competitiveness with caution. The long season demands it. Fans want full throttle from day one. Teams think in months, not moments. If there is minor swelling, compression can help manage it effectively. If there was bruising, time and treatment typically resolve it. If it's simply preventative, then this may never resurface as a meaningful topic. But for now, it remains part of the narrative surrounding her early season preparation. There's also the ongoing discussion about her role without the ball. That theme will likely resurface weekly. Observers will analyze touches, positioning, shot creation, and efficiency. It's a storyline that isn't disappearing anytime soon, and that's why physical readiness becomes intertwined with tactical deployment. If she's at full strength, arguments about usage become purely strategic. If she's managing minor discomfort, those arguments take on a different tone. Again, this is why her clarification matters. It sets the baseline. Heading into the weekend matchup against Dallas, the focus will shift from speculation to performance. The best way to quiet questions is through play. If she moves freely, handles contact, and looks explosive, the sleeve will become background noise. If not, it will remain part of the conversation. That's where things stand right now. No dramatic announcements, no confirmed injury report suggesting extended absence, just compression, possible swelling, and measured preparation before the season begins. The Fever open against the Wings. The league tips off with anticipation building, and all eyes will be on number 22, not just for what she creates offensively, but for how she moves, how she feels, and how she starts this new chapter. So now the conversation shifts to you. Do you see this as routine maintenance or something to watch closely? Do you think her minutes against Nigeria were purely strategic or connected to the leg management? And how important is it that she starts strong against Dallas? The season is here, the microscope is out, and the answers, as always, will unfold on the court. Until next time, stay locked in, stay subscribed, and keep the discussion going.